$1 million up top, Super Bowl showdown slate, final slate of the year. We're going to talk through our favorite plays, our strategy going into this slate. We're missing Nick for this show. MIA. No clue where he is. It's okay.
Hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. Last show of the year. But hopefully, and maybe in the comment section after this video, you can give some of his favorite plays. But let's look at the board here. How you guys want to do it? You guys want to just go through first, looking at kind of the pricing of everybody, and then some of our favorite plays, and then build out some lineups?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
let's
that.
do that.
I'll first preface this by just saying, this contest, we're specifically talking through the large field. I mean, it has, I think, 270,000 people in it. And whether you're doing this or the 50 cent one, like they all have hundreds of thousands of people, and your strategy should be similar across these contests. And that is you need to be playing either someone off the board completely, super low owned, or you need to be leaving salary, or both. I mean, might take doing both to actually have like a unique lineup. So, with that being said, starting off at the top here, you got Saquon Barkley at I don't know. I think this might be the most expensive player I've seen this year.
He's definitely up there. I mean, he's
12K.
been, yeah, he's been 12K a couple of times, hovering around it most of the year.
Yeah. But in general, DraftKings this year was kind of like lighter on pricing, like compared to years past. You know, I've noticed this year, like pricing was a lot looser, the quarterback pricing and everything. So in comparison to just years prior and like what 12,000 has been this year, this is like when I see that price tag, it really, really stands out. I mean, look at that. Like 2,000 more than Mahomes, 1,600 more than Hurts. Like
It's wild.
people are still gonna find their way towards him though.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's still Saquon.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, he can go for three and 150 yards. I mean,
Well,
he's
yeah,
that.
that's yeah. I mean, that's the type of stuff he can do, but I'll just start it off by saying I will be heavily underweight Saquon this game.
So what would you say his ownership's looking like?
I mean, it's like it's the Super Bowl. You have more casuals playing Showdown than me than
Ever.
normal, and so like when like even though they see 12K, like it just feels like people are just gonna be like, okay, I'll play him and then figure out the rest, kind of.
Yeah, they don't have a
So,
gauge of how much 12K is in a
yeah.
showdown lineup.
Like even like casuals, I think like especially like if you try to play Saquon at captain, that's 18K. I mean, you've used like more than a third of your salary
Yeah,
on one guy.
Yeah.
So like it's just tough. So like I think he's still going to be played at like 60,
I said 70.
60 to 70% is where I think like to 15 to 20% at captain and like 40 plus percent at flex would be my like guess. And yeah, that's just gonna be really tough for me. Like I'm definitely gonna have some. I'm not just gonna like full fade him, but I'm gonna be like way underweight compared to the field. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mistake to full fade Saquon, but that it's the combination of his price tag and his ownership. Like if he has any sort of a regular game, 75 and a touchdown, like
You're
I would
there.
say 100 yards and a touchdown might not
still
be.
not, yeah. So like yeah, I mean, you're essentially banking on him having a game like he's had the last two games, 200 yards, two plus touchdowns, like just completely blow up the slate. And we talked about it in the bet show. You've got to imagine that Spags is going to do, I mean, you can only contain Saquon as much as you can contain him, but he's going to do everything in his power to limit what he does in this game. He's the focal point of the offense. All great defenses are going to try and take out your best guy. So, yeah, if he just has even 101 is still an awesome game in the Super Bowl. Like no one's upset about putting up that performance. But in terms of ownership, it seems a bit high to me too.
Um, yeah, you got to hope that he doesn't get tackled at the 2 yard line or
That's
the
it.
1 yard line when you're playing him, as we've seen 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship it happened. I mean, he still got his, he still paid off his price tag last game, but last game he was 9,800, I think. Like he was severely not priced the same. Oh, he was 11-2 or 11-6.
Well, last week we also had, or 2 weeks ago or whatever, we had it was multiple game slate, so it
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, no, I
close.
get it, but it was like you plugged and played him. And you just, who cared? I mean, he was 90% owned.
Yeah,
So I assume that he's probably gonna get the same sort of, ownership, not 90%, but I think he's gonna be close to 70. Yeah, I mean, it's hard in terms of Spags trying to limit him, it's a lot easier to do that when the offensive line is not as talented as the Eagles, and the Eagles can move anyone around. And I really think that, they can draw up as many schemes as they want, but like the Eagles have the best offensive line coach, the best offensive line up and down. They're going to be healthy. Um, I'm not saying I'm going to be with the field if he's at 70%, just because I want to be able to be different and try to win as much money as I possibly can. And if you're just plugging Saquon in and then just filling in the rest of the roster, like we'll show you what you can get with them, and the lineup's gonna be duped at least 10,000 times. I would have to assume.
at
So
least ten
you you,
thousand.
you got it. You got to do some other things with it if you are gonna play them, which we've already talked about playing lower ownership guys, or just leaving a bunch of salary. And play that scenario in your head of how the game's going to be. Be like, okay, it's a 24-20 game, and the points are coming from Saquon and the kickers. Like, that's a way to do it. But it's a very small percentage of the outcomes. So yeah, I'll definitely be. I won't be. I'd probably say, depending on how many lineups I'd actually play, I'd say probably around 30 to 40% I'll take of Saquon.
Yeah, so half the field is probably where I'd be at.
Yeah.
Yeah, underweight position for sure with Saquon. So that's kind of the first strong take there. Um, all right, going to the next place. See, I drastically prefer Hurts to Saquon because one, he's so much cheaper. Two, I think that Hurts is going to be forced into having to pass a lot more, and so I like him and his pass catchers who are also cheaper. I just think that that's the game script that I'm personally going with, and he also has a lot of touchdown equity rushing. So I think there's just a lot more upside with Hurts in this matchup compared to Saquon. As like I think Spags wants Hurts to be the guy that beats him, not Saquon. And for that reason, I just think Hurts is going to score higher than. It's not like I guess Hurts and Saquon could both get there. Like they can both eat up all the touchdowns, what they've done plenty of times. But like you know, Mahomes is on the slate, Kelsey's on the slate, Brown. Like there's other guys that with the salary restraint of 50K and building a lineup like 12K just doesn't do it. So Hurts is the guy I'll have a good amount of on this slate.
Yeah, I mean, I between the quarterbacks, I think I prefer Hurts over Mahomes, just with the upside of the rushing and the tush push. Um, I know that he's 1,600 more or 600 more than, or even 400 more. I can't remember the exact pricing. But yeah, I think that he will also have to use his legs and scramble. For some reason, pass protection, he just holds the ball way too long. Like we've seen the last couple of games where he's been taking a lot of sacks. So in the Super Bowl, he's not going to be able to do that. And I think they're probably telling him like, hey, like if there's no one open, like just start making plays with your legs. It's the last game of the year. Don't hold on to the ball so much.
Are you worried about his knee at all?
No, I don't think so.
Like, I don't know. I think people look at the three rushing touchdowns from last week and think, oh, yeah, he was fine rushing, but he had his lowest rushing output. I mean, he ran the ball 10 times, but he had 16 yards. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Yeah,
But
they did.
like the 10 times, like I don't know. I think his knee's probably fine, but you know,
I, I wasn't. I don't question it because they weren't trying to run him like they usually do. I don't think like they were more just using him as for the short yardage.
That
Um,
game, that game was in hand the entire time. Like there
yeah,
was no reason to risk rolling him out. And even that one of the touchdowns was at least like a 5 or 6 yard kind of scramble too. It
yeah,
wasn't just a tush
yeah.
push.
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
I think he's probably fine. I just remember that little limp he kind of had.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hurts. I mean, if you for someone that doesn't like Saquon, like I have to have some interest in Hurts. But unlike like Corey, you said that you like Hurts more than Mahomes. Mahomes is my first like lock. Like I play these very aggressively, these showdown slates, and in almost 300,000 people, and you have 150 lineups to play with. That's what I play with 150, and I'm trying to just get as many combinations with my favorite players as possible. And Mahomes is a complete lock for me. Like
It's we
Mahomes,
know who the guy is.
yeah, in the Super Bowl, their pass rate, I think he's gonna chuck the ball so many times, and he runs the ball so much more in the playoffs. Like his rushing attempts line is close to like 30 yards. Like this guy just runs all over the place um, in the playoffs. So yeah, I think the Chiefs win. I'm riding with Mahomes in this spot.
Yeah, no, I understand Mahomes, but in terms of like, yeah, he has his rushing upside is 30 yard, like his over under is 30 yards, but like when he's running the ball, he's looking to get, 10 yards and get out of bounds. Like Hurts, I feel like he's almost trying to look to score and has the ability to score on any given rushing play that he or scramble that he takes. So that's the only reason why I feel like Mahomes is not going to run 50 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah,
Hurts
but
can.
Hurts rarely does that ever. Has he ever ran for a 50-yard touchdown?
I'm saying in general, like the yardage that he's going to look to get is going to be a lot more than what Mahomes is typically looking to get. Mahomes is scrambling, to get 10 yards. I feel like, when Hurts is scrambling, he's looking to get as much as he possibly can.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, there's no denial. I think that Hurts is a better as a rusher overall, but like I'm talking just both sides of the ball. Like
okay, so let me ask you this: like Mahomes rushing, like what would you see? Like, okay, that was a good game rushing, like 40 yards.
yeah, 50, 40, 50 yards.
Okay,
But
so
what he can do, like Hurts, like okay, but then you look at their passing props. Like Mahomes is like 250 plus. I mean, Hurts is sitting there right above 200 ish, and yeah, I think Hurts throws the ball more this game. But I mean, I know Mahomes is just going to be chucking it all over the place, and I think he's the GOAT quarterback. And I don't think Hurts is. I think he has moments where he looks very good, like the last time they played in the Super Bowl, but he just has these. He's just so inconsistent, in my opinion, with certain games where he just like completely falls apart. Like I said, I bet him to throw an interception this game. Um, yeah, I just Mahomes. I'm dying, or right. Actually, I'm riding, and I'm going to win the Millie with Mahomes. I'm not dying with Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean the tush push is the great equalizer. I don't think anyone's arguing that Mahomes is a better passer than, or that Hurts is a better passer than Mahomes, or Mahomes is a
Yeah.
better rusher than Hurts. Like that's both of their games. They excel at different things. Um, the tush push is just
Yeah.
that's like the great equalizer to make up for some of what Hurts lacks in fantasy production through the air. So there's always that scary like okay, if they get down to the fucking two twice, he could very easily have two rushing touchdowns and another throwing and beat out Mahomes fantasy
Right.
scoring
But
wise.
but that's why you play them both instead of
Right.
that's why
Oh
you
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Saquon and play them both.
Yeah.
the other thing with Mahomes that I'm worried about, well, not necessarily worried about or just thinking about, is the offensive line. I mean, we touched on it, with uh, um, what's his name, left tackle,
John Taylor, the
Oh,
Jawan
guard,
right,
Taylor.
Tooney.
right tackle, not left.
Yeah, Tooney's the left.
Sorry, right tackle.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jawan.
Tooney's playing out of position anyways.
Yeah,
Right.
He's
Tooney's done great though.
okay, well, he's not, but this is a different defensive line than what
Their
they.
offensive line will be fine against the Eagles.
I
I
think
would bet if like we already did our bet show, but one of the bets I liked was actually you could get Eagles to have the most sacks in this game at plus money. I like that more than the Eagles.
You mean the Chiefs?
Or yeah, I like the Chiefs to have the most sacks.
Well, that's if Hurts is holding the ball like he has been in the last two games, where then I could see that bet paying off because he's like we said, he's been holding the ball way too long, and I think they're probably drilling that into him this week. Like, dude, you cannot sit back here and do this. Just make plays with your leg. So you can't go wrong with your quarterback.
Yeah,
Just
play it. I mean, it's a min
yeah,
one. Like you have to play one. I don't see a way one of these guys isn't
no
optimal.
chance.
So
yeah,
min one, and I'll be playing like 100% Mahomes, like I said, probably like 20-25% captain, the rest in the flex, and Hurts. I'll have like 70% of. I'll probably be a bit overweight in the captain, and
Is there a
same
world
with
where you play
flex.
both?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm playing a lot of my lineups are gonna have. I would say like
I guess if you have Mahomes 100%
yeah,
locked.
100% Mahomes, and I'll
Yeah.
probably have like 70. So like 70% of my lineups will probably have both of them.
makes sense.
Um,
All right, let's get to the receivers. We just
yeah. Who? All right. Well, let's include Kelsey in this list. So Kelsey, Brown, Worthy, Smith. w- Like, who are your favorite plays ranked?
Kelsey, by far and
Ben?
away my favorite out of this group of guys. Yeah, I mean, the way that you attack the Eagles is across the middle and with the tight end. Like a receiving tight end, even a guy, I think Nick brought this up, but even a guy like Zach Ertz, and not a knock on him, but he's not Travis Kelsey, put up 11 catches and like 80, 90 yards on
No, I
them.
think it was 100 something yards.
Yeah, like it's where you're going to attack these guys, and no one's better at it at the position at finding open space than Kelsey. And I think that injury to Nakobe Dean earlier in the playoffs is going to be utilized and targeted. I forget the backup's name. He's not terrible, but he's not Nakobe Dean. And I know Zach Bond has had an amazing year, but I anticipate Mahomes and Kelsey showing up in the biggest game of the year like they always do. So Kelsey's by far my favorite here.
Agreed. He's my favorite. I'd rank them like in order of like at their price point and favorite play. For me, it's close between Kelsey and Devonta Smith, but I will lean Kelsey, then Devonta Smith, then AJ Brown, and I will be 100% full fading Xavier Worthy. What do you
That's
think?
gonna
What do
be
you
a
think about
sweat.
the full fade on Worthy? 0%.
That's gonna be a sweat
No, it's gonna be a sweat.
all game.
It's literally till the clock expires. I
Yeah,
will be when
yeah,
Mahomes has the ball with 2 minutes left or whatever, and they're
yeah,
dry at, and if I haven't already gotten beat, yeah, I'll be still sweating that.
yeah, yeah. 60 yard, 80 yard
I
touchdown
just,
always in play.
I
I
just
mean,
absolutely hate him this week.
we talked about it. Like we liked there's other options on Kansas City that you just feel like have to do something or need to do something in this game. So I don't mind. I mean, I don't think I'll full fade Xavier Worthy. I mean, I'll be very low owned on him.
Oh,
Uh,
so you don't really like him much either.
well, no, just because I like the other pieces as well. I think that you're going to save salary because leaving salary on the board is something you're going to want to do. So you're not going to obviously pick all these top end guys. And if you go off of what you're saying, where one, we think it's going to be an over type game. Two, Hertz is going to have to throw the ball more than normal. And so you have to imagine that, AJ Brown and Devonta Smith are going to be key pieces in this. Now, with AJ Brown, obviously we've seen he can just take over a game at any point in time. Um, I don't know how much time Hertz is going to have to throw. If he is playing like he's played in the last couple games, I'll be worried that, AJ Brown is just going to be he's good, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get there and pay off his salary. And I think Devonta Smith is a home run threat anytime he touches the ball. Um, I like Smith more. I'm with you on that, PB. The hamstring thing is just just cautionary. I don't think that's going to limit him in any means. So I think I'd go pretty much the same as what you ranked it, PB. Actually, the exact same way you ranked it. Um, I do like Devonta Smith a lot. So
Yeah, I
The other thing with
um,
AJ is he's going to be getting Trent McDuffie all game.
yeah,
which if it's like more if it's like man coverage, like I don't even care if it's McDuffie. Like if they're one on one, like I always take AJ Brown in a matchup like that. Like
Yeah,
he just destroys single coverage and like man to man. So if that's like the way the Chiefs play, like I can definitely see Brown going off. But yeah, I really like having one of Brown or Smith in a lot of lineups. And then I like Kelsey. So it's just like it naturally you can see like as the price range gets down, like who's getting squeezed out for me at least. And it's Saquon at top between the expensive guys. Then it's Worthy in like the upper mid range. And then who was after Kareem Hunt was like the
yeah.
next. So yeah, the next range of guys is well, so you have the two Chiefs running backs, Kareem Hunt,
Checo.
Pacheco, and then you have Goddard and Hollywood. So let's go through this. Yeah, let's go through that tier real quick of
I think
plays.
Hunt is off the board for me.
Okay. We're pretty in line here, Corey. I have the second full fade for me is Kareem Hunt.
I mean, 6,400 is asinine for this
Crazy.
player. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, he touched the ball 17 times, one reception. Like, I mean, he's getting the red zone looks, which is crazy to say, but I, I can't play this guy at this price range. This is crazy. I thought he'd be the same price as Pacheco. He should be the same price as Pacheco.
Yeah, I'm playing. It's to me, it's like Kareem Hunt. I don't think Kareem Hunt will be like popular by any means. Like he's 6,400. He's people don't want to play him against the Chiefs run defense, but
Eagles
I'm
D.
gonna be playing. I think Pacheco is actually again. You have to think of this as like I don't think Pacheco is like I'll be playing the spy and some of the smaller field single entry contests, and I don't think Pacheco is probably one of the greatest plays there. But in this 300,000 person contest, if you like, imagine you were told at the beginning of the year, and I know circumstances have changed, but like you were told the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, Isaiah Pacheco is going to be $5,200, and he is going to be like 10% owned, and maybe like 1% at the captain. A lot harder to see him get there at the captain based off of his play, but like you would be like, oh, I literally want 100% of him.
Yeah.
Like,
You're leaving out a big piece though.
yeah, no, I get it.
Like
I
there's a
understand.
pretty big asterisk on
Yeah,
that.
he wrecked his ankle or
He's
whatever.
on one and a half legs right now.
Yeah, he's not playing with all his parts, but he still has shown that he's
Yeah.
like last week against or 2 weeks ago against the Bills. Like we said, Kareem Hunt got like the goal line work, but Pacheco had that play at like the 5 yard line against the Bills that I forget what, but they had it designed specifically for him, and he just didn't get there. He scores there. I believe he would have been talked about a lot more this week at least. And to me, I just instead of playing Hunt, like give me 10% owned Pacheco. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to click this guy. Everyone's clicking Butker over him. Everyone's clicking Jake Elliott over him. Everyone's clicking Goddard, Hollywood. He is just not going to get played at all. And to me, one of he will zero projection sources will have this guy projected well at all. Like he will,
Yeah.
if you're using simulations, whatever, he's just gonna look horrible in every lineup. And so to me, I think he's a great play.
Yeah, you're usually talking about like when you're saying that type of verbiage around the Sims and all of that, we're usually talking about a guy who's like $1,200 and not a potential main part of the offense.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're getting potentially a starting running back
And
at
they said they wanted
10%
to play
owned.
the hot hand, and it just turned out Hunt had some early, but like Pacheco had the first touch, I believe.
He did.
Yeah, he like if Pacheco, looks decent early, like you could see Pacheco just having more touches than Kareem Hunt this game. He had 2 more weeks of rest. To me, it's just when you're talking large field, like he just has to be a good large field play to me.
I
Yeah,
agree.
like if he gets one, like say 12-yard run early, like and he builds confidence, like that dude runs so angry, like they're gonna see that and bet, how can we take this guy off the field? Like he's gonna get swagger, he's gonna get that confidence. Like I think that's what he's missing right now. I think he's still kind of like a little timid, um, which is crazy to say about that guy. But I think he's a really good play. Like you just said, I don't. I mean, he's gonna be 10% just because it's a large field tournament. But like if this was like you know I don't know. I don't know. I think he could be lower than 10%. Just because, like you mentioned, just where he's priced, like people are just gonna be like, I don't have enough money to get up to Pacheco, or I want to save salary, so I'm just gonna take one of the kickers instead. Like,
Well, just
uh,
every play around him, like when you look at it, you're just like, oh, that feels way better than like every play around him. And we'll talk about, I think Goddard, especially like in this range, is going to be like the guy that people gravitate towards. And it's just people like think about if you just think about a line, like people are gonna want to play Saquon, they're gonna play one of the quarterbacks. So then you have that two spots. They're going to play one to two players like Worthy's going to be popular, Kelsey. So then that takes up. You're going to be forced to spend down somewhere, whether it's Juju or what, like, and then they're going to want to play one guy in this 5K range, whether that's Hollywood, Goddard, Butker, something, and they're just not clicking Pacheco ever. Like that's like he just won't get any ownership.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of recency bias in a lot, especially when you're talking about fish in a
yeah,
large field tournament. They're going to see the games that Saquon had the last 2 weeks. They're going to see the games Goddard had the last 2 weeks.
He's going to see Hunt score like five straight games.
Yeah. So
So to give you an idea, Hunt carried the ball, was on the field 38%, or sorry, 38 snaps, which was 58%. Pacheco was 19 snaps for 29%. So
But he did get a carry right around the 5 yard line, and I do believe if they get down there, it's going to be a lot closer to just like 50-50 of who gets that touch around the um, goal line. So
yeah.
like Pacheco 5200 scores a touchdown. He- I mean that again, you're getting the Chiefs running back at very low ownership. Um, all right, what do you guys think between all right, this other tier. So we'll start. It's well, I guess we're still covering Goddard and Hollywood because they were in that tier we talked about. What do you think about them?
yeah, I agree with what you said on Goddard in particular.
See, I don't like Goddard, but do you
Yeah,
like him?
no, I am agreeing with you. I'm not a fan of him in DFS right now
Wow.
Um,
for this game.
I would say that I'm not with the field. I'm not gonna be. I'll probably be like middle of the pack with him,
I'll be half the field.
just because I love playing tight ends. Um, just love me a good tight end.
You love a good tight end, Corey.
I can't get enough of tight ends. Tight ends have won me. Spent a lot of money on tight ends throughout my years, and they've helped me out. We'll say that. They've got me to the finish line multiple different times. So give me give me just a little bit
Good
of
to
Goddard.
know.
Give me a little bit of Goddard.
You
I
just want a little tight end.
just want a little tight end. Bring it marked for 18 plus on this.
I know we were talking about Hollywood on the bet show too.
Love Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think one of Hollywood or Hopkins is in the winning lineup for sure.
I like that.
Hollywood, 43 snaps last week, 65%. That was second on the team to only Xavier Worthy.
There
All
you go.
right, bold call here. I mentioned it last year. I think he's the fastest ball carrier. There was a bet you can get it at plus 1100 that he's the fastest ball carrier. He's going to get it by completely dusting Darius Slay on a go route, and he's going to catch a bomb this game. And he's one of the fastest receivers. I think Darius Slay he's played well this year, but
He
I
was
don't
getting
think I
he
don't
was
think
getting
he's
shown
going to
up last
match
week.
up well with Hollywood. What?
He was getting shown up last week, wasn't he? Against Washington? Maybe?
Darius? Oh, he had. I think McLaurin might have had a nice
Was it
uh
McLaurin
play on
cooking?
him.
Regardless, I like Hollywood Brown. I if he's playing that many snaps again, which it looks like they've ramped him up 20, 25, 34, 43,
Yep.
like and they got him in the
Two
offseason.
more weeks.
2 more weeks. Like you look at the other options. I mean, there's obviously no Rice. You had Juju, who played 38 snaps last week, which was insane. Justin Watson played 11. So like he's the number two guy or
Yeah,
number three guy.
and I think Worthy is going to see a lot of Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in the slot, and also a lot of the like Xavier Worthy's targets, like Marquise Brown, outside of like these like screen passes, has a higher target share, um, but Worthy gets these like screens, and the Eagles are really good at defending those types of passes. Um, I think Hollywood has one of the better matchups. I mean, obviously it's the Eagles. Like no one has like a phenomenal matchup, but I think one of the better ones you can get. And I think he breaks one loose here. I really feel
Might
strongly about it.
He
And,
might be a captain play for me.
oh yeah, yeah, he's one of my favorite captains. I'll say that.
No, we're talking about him. He might be up there. So,
Yeah, he's probably my second favorite captain.
Hopkins at 4,400. Well, hang on. Let's before we get there,
Kickers.
the kickers. I don't think I'm going to play any Jake Elliott. They don't trust him at all.
No, they
We
don't.
Corey, I think we're gonna be. I mean, it sounds like Alex is
I'm with
in
you
line
guys.
here
We're
too.
all
Like
in.
I
Yep.
am full fading Jake Elliott, but
Yep.
I will play Butker.
I
Yes.
will play Bucker, but
Yep.
Jake Elliott has been so inconsistent in the last
That,
3 weeks. I know
I
this is
mean,
indoors and turf and everything like that, but like, dude, I mean, what was he? So he
I
went
mean,
0 for 1 last week. Okay,
he
he
just
went 3
can't
for
hit
3 against the
long field goals.
Rams.
He's like one of eight from like 50 plus, and that's some recency bias, I think.
Yes.
But it's to me, it's like they're gonna go for it against the Chiefs way more, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yep. Completely agree.
Man, Frankie's gonna lose his shit if they lose this game on to Jake Elliott missed field goal.
It'd be good riddance for the double doink.
That would be
Sweet,
funny.
sweet revenge.
I don't think he would ever watch football ever again.
Oh my gosh,
My number would be blocked for sure.
Yeah.
he would be in like an animal like rage.
Yeah, we'd have to send like proof of life's text like you get from
Yeah.
your mom sometimes.
I mean,
It's
a
like,
Yeah, we
wellness
might have
check.
to check in
wellness
on
check, yeah.
Christine.
Yeah.
Whatever that he has one of the what is it called, a damn doll, damn it doll or something. He literally has a doll. You heard about this, right?
No.
It's called a damn it doll, and he has it for like Michigan games and Eagles games, and it's so, you know,
You can
actual
throw
valuable
something.
items around his house or his apartment doesn't get destroyed, and he takes this thing and just like chucks it around his apartment.
No way.
Yes, I
That's
thought
a
you knew
real
about it. He
thing?
didn't bring it to Florida.
No,
No.
he didn't.
No.
He didn't bring
Shockingly.
on the plane with him. Um,
Oh
yeah,
my
it's called
gosh.
I think it's called a damn it doll.
Oh, that is so funny.
I need one of
Yeah,
those.
I think we probably all need one.
Uh,
Um,
all right, back to your regular scheduled programming. Um, defenses.
what are we?
Uh,
Hopkins. Let's start. We got
oh,
Hopkins.
Hopkins. I like Hopkins. He's got to play more than 12 snaps. I
Yep.
mean,
I think he will.
I mean, okay. So look throughout. I know Rashi or Hollywood Brown came back, but throughout from like week 8 to when they traded for him to week 16, he played 23 snaps, 51, 44, 26, 33, 42, 38, 34, 36, and then 29. And then the playoffs, 16 and 20. Like, well, I know Hollywood's back and everything, but like this is still DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, he's older and he's not as fast, but this dude still can ball out. So like, we're at the last game of the year, so and he's in a contract year. He's probably not gonna be with them next year. Like, throw this guy a bone. Let this guy go off.
It's almost
Yeah,
like a like an OBJ on the Rams type of
Yeah,
situation. It's like,
man, God, he was absolutely dominating that Super
oh,
Bowl.
he, yeah, yeah. I don't know if D Hop has that left in the tank, but he's a big body in the red zone, and yeah, you got to imagine that they're pulling all the stops out. Still a Hall of Fame wide receiver, maybe a little bit slower, but he's still a contested catch, big
contested
body.
catch.
Like he obviously could get open a lot better when he was younger, but it's not necessarily the biggest part of his game. He's not a speedster. He's not a guy that's like, once he lost his step, he's got nothing left.
Yeah, he's $4,400.
Yeah, they his price is gonna what is gonna also what contributes to him having extremely low, like sub 10% again. And the Chiefs, in my opinion, are just one of the best teams where like on these showdown slates, large field contests, when there's guys, and we'll get to some of these cheaper guys like Juju in a minute, but when there's certain guys that, maybe recently had a decent game and people are all gravitating towards them, it can be anyone with the Chiefs, like at any given game. So just you play the ownership game. You play like Hopkins would like, and you would be shocked if he had two red zone touchdowns. No one would be shocked at all. It's DeAndre Hopkins and Patrick Mahomes, and yeah, he doesn't get separation, but he can make a contested catch. We've seen it this year plenty of times. Um, so yeah, I think Mahomes or Hopkins, another guy, an amazing tournament play. But for larger field, smaller field, no need to play him. Like no one will have him, and you just don't really need him, in my opinion. But in large field, he's just an amazing play again, in my opinion. So I'll have like double to triple the field. I mean, he's like probably maybe like 8% owned or something.
Yeah. All right.
Eagles and Chiefs defense.
I will.
We might differ a little bit here, but
I know you're probably more on the Chiefs just because you
yeah,
obviously think that Hurts is going to throw interceptions, which is totally fine and understandable. I think I'll just be split 50-50 on him. I mean,
yeah,
in the lineups I'm looking to play a defense, whoever I'm building with, I'll play that. Or if I'm building against, I'll play the other one. So I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. They're basically the same price. So I think you just go with whoever, if you think
yeah.
the Chiefs are going to win the game, play the Chiefs. If you think the Eagles are going to win the game, play the Eagles or play whatever makes sense with your lineup. I don't think there's really big,
Yeah.
edge with either one.
You can just start the Chiefs off with at least two fantasy points though, because there will be an interception in this game. Eagles, I'm full fading. So on to now. All right, now this is kind of, all the other plays, they're at least probably around 10% higher. You can get amazing leverage in the mid to higher range, but this lower range is really where you can start to separate in terms of like getting a really unique lineup. And again, like just to put this in perspective, 270,000 people, if you played a 1% owned play, you're basically now in a tournament with about 2,700 other people. You're now in like a 2,700 person contest and everyone has that low owned play and probably a few of the other high owned play. That's how crazy this is going to be to get different and unique on this slate. Like people play in 2,700 person contests as it is, and it's crazy how hard it is to really get, like when you think about it like that, it's like you play a 1% owned guy and you're now in another tournament with them,
You know,
2,700
you know what we
people.
should have done when we opened up this entire podcast today or show? We should have let off with people that you've won one of these terms before, a couple Super Bowls ago. Now that no one's probably this far deep, have no idea what they're probably like. These guys have no idea what we're talking about. Like, but PB won this off of random tight end for the Rams.
FanDuel I did.
You won the FanDuel one, but the tight end, what was his name?
Um, actually, I had it
Oh
remembered for a while.
no.
It's
He was the second string tight end for the Rams,
yeah,
the
no, he was the third string.
third string. He was a black
Um,
guy.
started with a B, I believe, but I just look up the Bengals Rams Super Bowl. Um, but yeah, anyway, but the point is like that was FanDuel, and you have to actually get even crazier over there. Um, Bryce Hopkins, yeah,
Bryson
Bryce
Hopkins.
Hopkins.
Yeah.
You have to get even crazier on FanDuel because like there's no like captain difference in salary. Like everyone, it's like Saquon's gonna be like 70% owned or something crazy on FanDuel because the salary doesn't matter. So you have to get really off the wall and leave tons of salary.
But that's the point that we're making is that you have to play one of these plays if you want a
Yeah.
chance to win any realistic money if you're having the correct lineup.
Yeah.
So with these knuckleheads down here, Gainwell at 3,400 is not a cup of tea that I'm looking to play.
Yeah.
12% or 12 snaps last week. He's a little bit banged up. Um, I don't. I think I'd go rather cheaper than sticking this guy out there and maybe getting something. I think.
Yeah, I don't like his price point really either. I think lineups I'd rather just get up to some of those guys I liked in that lower
Yeah,
4K range like Hopkins or go even lower to fit in a better guy.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't like Gainwell. Now, Noah
Give me,
Gray.
give me Noah Gray. I've been playing Noah Gray so much this year, and if I don't play him this game and
Yeah.
he does something, I'm furious.
I haven't played him in actually a decent while unless it's been a showdown slate, but I think the Chiefs are going to run more 12 personnel this game.
Okay,
Help
well,
negate some of the pass rush.
Well, it's just kind of because the Eagles always sit in nickel, like they
Yep.
like to keep Cooper DeJean out there, and it's just to like test like, all right, how are the Eagles going to play this? Are they just going to keep him out there? Are they going to switch it up? And I just think this package with Kelsey and Noah Gray could get some nice matchups for those guys. And
he's on the field a lot.
well, yeah, but and he's a guy that is coming off of one of those down get. People are like, oh, he's on the field
He
like
was
20%
Yeah.
of
he was
Zero.
on the field 44% of snaps last week.
Nothing
he
to
was
show for it.
44% last week.
Yeah, he had 29 snaps.
Yeah, no targets. But again, Eagles or the Chiefs are super game plan specific to the team they're playing. And if I would play a lot of 12 personnel this game if I was the Chiefs.
I love Noah Gray.
Yeah.
He's a
I like
tight
him
end I
way
can get
more than
behind.
Juju.
That tight end, jeez. Um, I mean, the
Yeah.
lowest snapped game he played this year was week 17 or week 18 with 4 snaps. Everything else, he's played at least 29 snaps a game, if not more. His highest was 59 back in week 9. I mean, this dude is on the field all the time.
Well, it's
So,
also the week 18 stats, also a good indicator of how important he is to them because they didn't play anyone
yeah,
meaningfully in that game.
exactly. Yeah. So,
I think yeah, he was on the field for 44%, but like his route, like the amount of routes he run was like way down compared to
well, yeah,
like
I was
Ben.
talking
But
about snap count.
yeah, but again, I do think he's going to be a lot more involved
What do
this
you think
game.
his ownership is? It's 5%,
No, it'll be high. It'll be
8?
no, I think it'll be between 10 and 20.
I think it'd be 10, 20.
Yeah, because people are
Well,
going
I
to
know they have
they
to,
need,
yeah.
and they're gonna
Mhm.
grab. I think the two guys that people will gravitate most towards is Gray and Shuju,
Yeah.
and P Ryan a close third, but Juju I think will be the one people gravitate towards the most because he's 800 cheaper than Gray and recent box score,
Yeah.
um, being on the field more than Hopkins. Like, and now I move into my next full fade,
Yeah.
and that's
Same.
Juju
I'm not
Smith-Schuster.
touching him. No way. No way, Jose. I don't care what you did.
Yeah,
You're
a lot of the
I mean,
guys that were full fading and in agreement on not liking at least are recency bias good
Completely
performers.
recency
is
bias.
he 25 years old yet?
Been
I feel like he's so young. He's
in
been in the
the
league
league
for like
for
so many years.
12 years, still 25.
Yeah. He's just never
That's what we're gonna be
aging.
thinking. That's what people will be talking Kyle Pitts like. I guarantee it. Like it'll be
He's 28.
it, what
He's 28. Juju.
Juju.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kyle Pitts will actually be a guy where we're talking in 2028. Like people are
Okay,
like,
this
oh,
is
this
he's not
guy.
even playing in this game. Don't bring
Yeah, I
up
have to always talk about
Has to.
Kyle
don't
Pitts.
bring
Just
up that
all right.
dude.
Mark the
Um
ticker.
all right,
Um,
let's kind of get here to the end. I mean, not playing Shipley.
yeah.
Uh
Okay. This range, I believe I'll be playing like eight guys, and actually like eight guys,
So
because this is a range where you're actually getting sub 5%, probably 1 to 3% on a bunch of these guys. And what it does is even if they don't have like a touchdown or a long play, if all the expensive guys do well and the mid range just doesn't do much of anything, you might just need all those expensive guys, and even a zero or like 1 point could be the winner. Like I've seen zero be on a winner before. So I mean, starting with Dotson, I
no,
think. I mean, I'm going to have some just because it's just an ownership. Like I don't
I will
obviously.
say, I will say, I mean, he's the fact that he's on the field for his. Ge- Please guess. I want you guys to guess the the. Let's do percentage of on field he was last week, not routes run, just on the field.
Like 60 something percent.
Alex,
30.
55.
Okay.
Yeah.
55.
Yeah, no
And the
targets.
week before that, it was 62. So
He's out there.
he's he's just running like top
He's
He's
on
100.
running, he's doing some laps.
track
He's just wind
simulator.
sprints. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like I I don't know why they don't throw him the ball. I mean, I know they don't really throw the ball a lot and their pass volume's not there, but like you can't tell me that this guy can't get thrown a bone. So like
I
honestly,
just
maybe
the Super Bowl is just like such a different game in the sense that these teams just can just find these plays that are just so deep in the playbook, and that's why I love these showdowns in these big in the Super Bowl, because you can just play into so much uncertainty with how these
I
teams are
mean,
going to
you're gonna
play.
talk me into playing this
I mean,
freaking.
it's not like play like 5% or you just like throw them in a few lineups, but it's the type of play where when it hits, you're just chopping with so many less people.
Give me Johnny Wilson below him.
I like Johnny Wilson too. I mean, I'll give. I just think the $200 plays are definitely in my wheelhouse because of really low ownership and being able to spend like 40, close to 50K, and it just no other lineups are going to be able to construct teams like that. So Johnny Wilson, yeah. I mean, he's a big guy. He could catch a touchdown.
Very well could. He did play
And you
17
like your
snaps,
tight ends.
but
He's not a tight end, but he kind of is.
he played 17 snaps last week, but I think that a lot of that was towards the end when
He's
they were
on, but he was in there in those like goal line packages.
yeah,
Like,
he was 8 for the week before, 6 for the week before that. So he's getting some snaps. So I definitely have interest in Johnny Wilson. Um, Down there at the goal line. They've used him before. Um,
yeah,
Paris, I run fast Campbell.
I don't. I think I would play Johnny Wilson over Campbell,
Yeah, I don't. He played 8 snaps last week, but again, I think that was at the end of the game. So
but Grant Calcaterra, he'll be a little higher on. P Ryan, we skipped. First, we got to talk about P Ryan because P Ryan, I think, is an actual like pretty solid play. Like he's not gonna. I think he'll be around that 10% owned mark, but to me, he's kind of like. I mean, he's the guy in those like 2 minute drill
yeah,
situations.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's the pass
And
catcher.
if the Eagles are able to put up points,
Right.
they're on the over. So you're expecting and the way we've, kind of talked about this game in agreement is that Mahomes is going to be slinging it. So
Yep.
he's the pass catcher in that backfield. I mean, you've
All
got
right.
30-year-old Kareem Hunt and a 1.5 legged Isaiah Pacheco. So they trusted him in the biggest moment of the entire Bills game as well,
Yeah, they
uh,
did.
to secure that win. So clearly have trust in the guy. If
That McKinnon-esque role.
Yeah, 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 get him in on corn dog.
Yeah. Calcaterra kind of, just probably is more likelier to get at least a target than some of the $200 guys. But, I don't mind. I mean, I have
Played a lot.
Calcaterra.
He plays a lot.
Yeah, he does. So,
31
I mean,
snaps last week.
yeah, I like some Calcaterra. Justin Watson, he's really doesn't play much anymore, but we know when he does play what kind of play it in.
He's running straight.
It's yeah, it's
He's running fast and he's
maybe
running
maybe
straight.
it's just Justin Watson like because yeah, it was like if it ends up being Justin Watson that does Darius Slay and I didn't have him because I'd be so mad and I'm gonna have some Justin Watson like we talked about gonna play a little Johnny Wilson probably no Carson Steele Remigio returns
Pair him up with the Chiefs
Chiefs
defense.
defense.
Niggy Remigio, how's your family?
He he's the Chiefs punt returner, kick returner. About 5% of the time this year we saw those being returned for touchdowns. He's going to be less than 5% owned. He's therefore a sharp play.
I heard a big conspiracy theory as well.
What's that?
So new NFL kick rules. Everyone's kind of like, meh, kick return in the Super Bowl to solidify that the new kickoff rules were the right move.
Who's the Eagles kick returner?
Shipley and
Ooh, Shipley.
it's Shipley and
Paris?
no, it's their other running back.
Oh, Gainwell?
Yeah, it's Gainwell.
That's right. I think you're right. Yeah, I s- those they're more expensive, so they'd be still harder for them to hit. Even
Yeah.
if they scored six at
Yeah,
what Shipley's like 3K or something, it would be still hard for him to get there. But yeah, Remigio I think is a fine play, and then
that's about it. I don't think there's
there's
anyone
probably
else.
like a third or fourth string Chiefs tight end that is worth it because of like I remember Jody Fortson was a guy that I always play
Yeah.
on Showdown.
Yep.
It's Hendershot. It's
Yeah,
Peyton
Peyton
Hendershot.
Peyton Hendershot I think is
It was
a solid one.
four snaps last week. Those are offensive snaps. Those aren't special teams.
Yeah, so it's just do they draw one up for him? You know, in the red zone. So like I'm
All
going
right,
to play all those guys we mentioned at the end there. Uh, because I think that's really how you can solo a Millie here. So,
all
all
right.
right, let's build a
Yeah,
few lineups.
who do we want at captain here?
Just
Let's,
do Saquon just to show we can just
so,
to
all right.
show.
Yeah, well, it's harder to, all right. So, I mean, if we do Saquon captain, probably Mahomes.
Yeah,
And then do we want which pass catcher? Do we want Kelsey? Do we want
Kelsey
Hollywood?
and Brown.
Kelsey and Hollywood. All right, we have 3,800 per player left. So, how are we going to get different? Who's
Yeah,
our unique play? Pacheco?
no,
I mean, we could do Pacheco two unique plays. I think I like doing that a lot too. Like you could have Pacheco and I don't know if Noah Gray would fit, but something like that. No, he
a
doesn't fit.
5-1.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'll have from some. I'll probably have a few like Saquon captain with five Chiefs. Because like to
Calcaterra.
me, like for Saquon to like hit at captain, he does have to pretty much just score like all the Eagles touchdowns.
Yeah, and like Devonta Smith or something. No, you can't put Devonta Smith in there or Goddard. Just play double tight ends. That's crazy. Three tight ends. All right. Realistically though, let's
So what's a captain? We liked Hollywood, right?
yeah, let's throw Hollywood there.
Now, Hollywood
Um,
won't be that owned at captain, but the people that do play him, like you could easily find yourself into a dupe lineup if you still don't get off the wall.
Play
So
Hurts.
yeah, Hurts, Devonta,
Yeah.
and
And
then this
then
one I like the idea of doing something where
take
you could do
Pacheco.
Pacheco and then
Pick the
uh
litter.
well, then you leave Sal. You could get like that might be leaving too much. Actually, this might
Tucker
try
at
one where we
30.
get like one of the really cheap plays and then another super expensive play. So like
Noah Gray.
I guess we could do Gray with this one.
now you could get to any of the big
AJ
dogs.
Brown, something like that. And you leave 1,700. So you're playing Hollywood and Noah Gray
This is gonna
Hollywood
be
captain Noah Gray and leaving a bunch. Yeah.
this will be duped a ton.
Well,
I guess
I
the
think
Hollywood
with
captain
Hopkins, a Hollywood captain and Hopkins really lowers it down. The fact that and Devonta Smith, I actually don't. I think will be like under 30%. So it'll be duped for sure. I'd bet leaving only 100, but I think it could be like chopped, you know,
you need
100
sub
bids.
sub 20 times,
yeah.
maybe 30 times. It's a big tournament.
Yeah. I like that lineup though.
It's almost 300,000 people.
Yeah, that I do like. Yeah, that's a nice little unique line. Let's do one where we play a $200 player like Johnny Wilson.
Head captain.
I mean, you can probably do some crazy stuff with Johnny Wilson captain, but let's do flex.
Johnny.
There will be a Johnny Wilson captain in the tournament,
Oh,
guaranteed.
for sure.
Some crazy person will do it.
You
I
do
mean,
hurt.
you could go Johnny Wilson and then get Saquon, Hurts, Mahomes, Brown. Well, you could just get them all. Okay. Honestly, if we do Johnny Wilson flex, let's just throw Hurts in captain for this one.
Yeah. I
Like
was thinking the
he's
same.
probably like we're playing it for him to catch a red zone touchdown, and then probably Mahomes, maybe Kelsey in this one. So you got Mahomes, maybe
Either Hopkins or Hollywood.
yeah, Hopkins or Hollywood.
Yeah, and then you got to pick a
And then
litter
you
again.
AJ Brown, you
Yeah. Or just do Smith.
Can do
And,
either of them.
yeah.
You can get the pick of the litter with outside of Saquon with either Hollywood or D Hop.
one thing I do kind of like to do with these $200 plays though is like when you leave enough salary to where you could get from like Johnny Wilson to Noah Gray or Juju where they're really likely to catch a ball. I like to do it to where like the next increment is still not likely to like maybe catch a pass or something because a lot of these times when I play the 200 plays, I'm just trying to
One catch.
like even if I like want it to where even a zero could win, and to me you have to spend like a little more of your salary. So to me, like the cutoff is to the P Ryan because I think P Ryan's for sure gonna get at least a touch. So it'd be like I'd be willing to leave like 900 on the table in a lineup with Johnny Wilson or
Yeah.
whatever someone else because well no you would take P Ryan out of this, but I'm saying like
Well, he was just
oh okay. I was saying like because if your lineup can move from Johnny Wilson to P Ryan, it's P Ryan's for sure getting a catch and it's likely Johnny Wilson doesn't catch anything.
all right.
But
Well,
uh
that's pretty much it.
yeah, we kind of walked through, a lot of leverage plays, our strong stances, and hopefully we're chopping the millie with very few people are soloing it.
That'd be
So
crazy. Solo that.
it would be insane to solo a millie with this many people. But all right. Please leave a like and subscribe. Comment your favorite, we'll say overall showdown play, and then your favorite low owned play. So thank you guys for watching all year long. We'll be back in the off season, discuss the NFL draft, the combine, all sorts of stuff before we get into the 2025 season.
Yeah,
Thank you
this
for
is
go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, this is last year before the Colts dynasty starts. So just wanted to throw it out there.
Here's to another season, boys.
All right. Peace.